Welcome to the Playground Experience. I got here April Williams, and then I have also Kathy D. I had to remember, I'm like, which way is it going? Here, I'm smack dab in the middle. uh, wow. So we got here the new moons in Cancer. Yeah, thank you, universe, thank you, angels, guys that did that notification and say woo woo woo, woo. Yay! We're all in the fields. Yeah, for this one. I can't tell you even before I got on here, so many fires and so much that I had to be an anchor. I'm like me of all people, anchor of light and a beacon of light for so many people. I wish I should have a t-shirt that say keep calm and relax. It's a new moon in Cancer because that's why I titled it Surrender and Go with the Flow, because we have to get more in touch with, again, this is again they saying about this theme of independence, and it's about again like disconnecting and becoming independent, like your own self, or some things that you have been connected to, ideas, ideologies, philosophies, family, things of that nature. This is where, again, this July energy is really talking about this transformation. I just seen from Tanya Gabrielle, and I put that in the community tab about 13 and being a death, and death meaning of a transformation. Where we are now, of so many people, things on the outside, the illusions are crumbling and breaking down. And again, if we are not anchored into ourselves and not depending on things on the outside, we'll crumble right along with it. And this is what I've had, like a lot of people, emergency readings. I need to know this, I need to know that, what's going on. They're doing this, they're doing that. And even in my life, I can even say that too, as well, that I had to anchor myself to say, okay, this is all going, but I've got to anchor. I've got to, again, ground myself, even find myself doing meditations even differently, to be able, then it's more heart centered, because I even said that in the readings about heart. And then also allowing for when I do my chakras, from the heart going down to the root and from the heart going up to source. I split myself, but it's all coming back to the heart. So it can really have that, getting in touch with your heart and really having a true north. This is where we're coming from now. And so if we're not really knowing what that true north is like, you'll be shaking and going for just anything at this point, because you don't have like a firm foundation. You're trying to, the DM or the ego or the mind is trying to reason with concrete, tangible things. And right now, where we are on this journey, we've got to go within and anchor that away. Because if we go on the outside, stuff will just crumble and fall. It's showing me like a landslide, like things are just going down. And so this is where we are, especially like I said, with this Cancer energies, and that's about emotion, which that's a water sign, but it's also about family. And again, some of us are fine again through our connections with people, or those things that we believe that are family units or systems, or your work or people or whatever is like that. We're going to get a source of energy and a pull from that too as well, because that's that family aspect. But it's about home, like what's truly home for us. And that's what that Cancerian energies is really about. Because I know with my dad, he was a Cancer, and a lot of times he could stay home and be happy. I ain't got to go out. If I can, I'm happy just right here. I got everything I need right here. And so that's what that energies is bringing to us. So I'm noticing a lot of people on the outside are like, like the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Let's pause, let's breathe, and let's keep calm. I'll pass it on to either one, whoever wants to.
Well, I definitely say it looks great. Like it's cosmetically put to kind together. But it's actually super wild and untamed. And it's kind of unbelievable. If you actually know me for real, this is unbelievable. And if you go to the side, it's a hot mess. Okay? So that's my real life interpretation of what is actually happening right now in Cancer season. Everyone is finally saying, "What is that smell? I can't stand it any longer." And it turns out it was their own shit the whole. And it's been really fun cleaning it out, and all this talk of the home and feeling grounded, like feeling safe and secure. And when you find that your foundation was made faulty, but it wasn't even you that made it faulty, it wasn't even them that made it faulty, it's been generations of generations. So all these little cracks are starting to show up. And what's cool is that the light comes in and it exposes the crack, and then you get to find out all kinds of really cool information if you're open to it, if you're surrendering to the flow of it. If you're fighting the flow of it, it hurts and it feels
Hmm.
really complex and
There you go.
complicated. But it's as simple as like taking your breath and finding home in your body, finding presence in your body, and being okay with your weaknesses. Like you can want to be, the savior of the world, but unless you're willing to like sit there and acknowledge that maybe I did some people wrong, or maybe I was actually done wrong, or maybe I'm holding this whole perspective incorrectly. The whole way that you're viewing what trigger topics are: autonomy, health autonomy, and safety within the body, right? They've triggered so many people for that. Financial stability. And then they're finding out, oh, you mean the government? Whoops, I should probably use different types of words. What's a good word for that? Oh, you mean, no, no, I was going to end up using the same word. Because I
What they
can't
call it, the
sugarcoat
powers
this.
that be. That's
Oh,
usually
the
what they call
powers
it.
that be. No, they're
Right.
not even the powers that was. The powers that pretended to be, really,
Right.
is what
Yeah, mostly what they
was.
call it now.
And you're starting to realize, oh, that it's just been a mask this whole time. It's not actually helping at what they say it's helping, but they have provided a structure for us, and now we're trying to figure out how to live outside of that structure. What do you? How do you feel safe in who you are and being okay with where you are right now and accepting that, so that you actually can accept and receive more? Because if you've been receiving with a trauma lens or a storyline that wasn't accurate, it's starting to shake you. So you're going to
Hmm.
receive stuff where it gets that backlash where you're like, oh, I'm not attached, or oh, I'm attached to that, or maybe I'm more of a hoe than I thought, and it's okay. It's okay to be whatever you are. It's just actually being what you are and allowing yourself to step into who you are becoming, right? That means you do actually have to let stuff go. We talk about it all the time. There's a couple of times a season where you feel the whole urge to let things go, and you're like, "Oh, it's just a detox or whatever." But actually, it's a whole lifestyle change. It's a whole
Hmm.
thing that you actually get to be committed to, and you're taking the baby steps. It's all right if you have a little bit of kind of recoil where you maybe do something out of comfort or something because that's all you know. But if it's going to kill you, you actually get to stop it, or you get to choose. You're choosing death, and that's the point of it. And there's something about death too that's triggering, where people aren't as scared of death anymore because they realize it's coming for everybody. Oh, that's kind of the consequence of life, is death, right? So coming to terms with the fact that we're fallible. It's not movie land, and even in movie land, it's still, clearly fake. Prince Charming turns out, he's not exactly 100% charming all the time,
Hmm.
and that's
True
okay.
that. True that.
And the princess was never really helpless. She just liked him to do stuff for her when he was around. So it's kind of like, okay, all right, let's readjust those models. I don't necessarily want the like, oh, I'm gonna be married and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. It's like maybe it's we actually are friends and we hang out and we actually get along, and then it grows from there. I can dig that, or maybe it's actually you can get swept off of your feet. You can trust the love that that's growing inside of you, and maybe it's you don't need to put in all the work to be loved. There's all this stuff that's coming out that really is hitting people. There's childhood wounds, and it's like
Yes.
spirit's like, are you ready? Below the belt, and they'll hit you a little bit, tag you a little bit, and you're like, okay, do I lean into it and let it fully wake up all that pain out of me? Or do I run away from it and numb myself out and check out on a Netflix binge, which I unsubscribe to, so that I can not keep binging Netflix because I was like, oh, I've got a problem. I've got a problem here. This Korean drama. My friend was like, I don't even want to watch it now because you're sitting there talking so much smack about the chick, and I was like, oh, I don't. You're saying I'm actually saying I don't like it, but I don't turn it off. Oh, okay, I see my problem now. Click, and I was like, we can do that. We can exchange that energy. But I was reading about coming back from trauma, right? And sometimes to come out of trauma for people that numb themselves or they just kind of check out or they have when they disconnect from their body, disassociate, they'll pick things around them that make them feel again so that they feel like they're jumping back into it. And it's like, oh, is that what's happening? Because I did, that's my thing. Okay, now I get to focus on when I'm checking out, when I'm not feeling things, when I'm, and it's okay just to admit who and where you are and what you're doing and all that good stuff. So
Yeah,
there's
I
also some arrested development coming up too. So I'm
oh,
noticing like sometimes I'm acting like a little kid. Sometimes I'm acting like a teenager. Sometimes I'm acting like um what I think an adult is supposed to be acting like. And so I
mm,
found that I'm like, oh, you've got all these little hats you're wearing, and who is April really? So this new moon was a real doozy for sure. And I'm tired. I'm flipping tired all the time.
yeah, that I've heard a lot of people say they've been fatigued. They really have. I don't know if you say it's downloads. It's a lot of work inwardly that's being done. It's being brought to us. This doing that. And that's true to the Cancerian things because Cancerian is kind of like moody is the crab. So sometimes they're over here, sometimes they're over here, sometimes they're talkative, and sometimes they got moods in which they're real quiet. And so that kind of goes with the whole thing. I got my cheat sheet upstairs. God. And so that kind of goes along with also with the feelings too as well. What's happening for you, April? What have you picked up?
Kathy D, you mean?
Kathy D, I'm sorry. Did I say that again? I'm sorry. I'm just mesmerized by the extra guest there called the wig. But go on.
I'm just waiting for my son to come in here and rip it off my head so y'all could see the real me. Like, it's
Right.
kind of hot. I had to turn on the air
Right. That's
conditioner to
the
wear this
universe. He
thing.
represents the universe. Yeah. And that's why we're going through all this stuff. It's like, can we see the real you? Please snatch. Yeah, we're going to
I think the main things that the energies now have been so completely different for me. Where April was talking about finding home, I've got a new one, and now
Yay!
it's purging to get there. And
Mm.
so going through 20 years of abuse, going through it with my youngest daughter who moved into this house when I was still pregnant with her. This is the only house she knows. So she's had meltdowns so many times. Um, dealing with my oldest daughter who decided to just go. I had forgotten I had given her permission to go off with her friend for the week to go fishing and stuff out in the ocean with her dad. So she's been just MIA, and then text today wanting to know when we could start moving stuff in the house. And I said, well, we have to finish packing. Well, why is it not done? And she's a Cancer too. So, but yeah, 16-year-old, almost 17-year-old, for sale.
16 going on 17.
Yeah, well,
Driving her mother mad.
yeah, because she's, when do I get a car? When you get a job? But so all this has been going on, and then on top of that, um, there have been other moves and people moving in my life as well. So that has kind of put a strain on the communication, that we kind of count on as our grounding, and having to go back and ground ourselves and then being asked to ground them because they're so out of it. And I heard it was a reader, and I can't even remember who it was, and it's somebody I used to listen to a long time ago. And for some reason, something caught my eye in the. And you guys know, I just go through and read the comments. I don't usually ever listen to the readings, but I actually did for the first time in a very long. Um, and she made the comment that with this new moon, there were going to be people that didn't understand our circumstance, which we know. We know, if God wanted everybody to understand, He would have given the mission to everybody. So we know a lot of times what we're going through, people don't understand and they don't grasp. And so, but it was talking about that there were people that were going to give us advice during this period. And it was going to be, pretty much for the DM kind of thing. And it was going to be one of those, you just need to step away. You just need to back off. You don't need to, communication, leave him alone, let him find his way back to you. A lot of some of this, harsher stuff. Yes, there's one thing to pulling your energy back to take care of you. That's self-preservation. But then there's another way of pulling it back where it's very ego drawn. Well, I'm going to show him, I'm going to pull my energy back. And that's what she was talking about, being in that ego, sense, doing these things. And I thought, well, wasn't that interesting? And I went on with my day. And then probably about 2 days later, I had that actually blow up in my face, to the point that it was like, that's it. I'm done. All the little asterisks and, symbols there. Screw you. I'm done. I'm not, not going to see you. Never going to talk to you again. I can live my life without you. And then I remembered that reading before. Now, all that was going on in my head. Never said a word to the DM. And, then I started thinking about that. I went, wait a minute. And I was on the way driving to a doctor's appointment. I had my youngest daughter with me. And so I was kind of talking to her about it. And I'm like, I told her about the reading and I said, I'm letting these people get in my head, that shouldn't be in there. They're not paying rent. And they don't know what's going on. They don't understand the situation. So I got to thinking about it more and more, and I was like, you know what? Yep. Because the one thing the woman did say was, if you play into those and you get into the heated discussion through ego with the DM, because right now they're just they're trying to get their heads above water. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to get things straight. They're trying to get things right with you. And you go and just, fly off the handle at them. It's done. You have just thrown the brakes on and can, depending on where your DM's coming from, cause some severe damage. Because at that point, when you're pulling your ego up, you're pulling his ego up. And he's trying to, tell the ego to step aside and follow intuition. So it could be a really hot mess. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I remembered that. Well, got done at the doctor's. Everything was fine. We're on our way. And where my doctor's office is not far away is a little metaphysical shop and crystals and all that kind of stuff. So Jackie and I have to go. We just have to go check it out. We got to see if they got anything new, as Jackie would say, any new sparkly rocks. But yes. And so as we were in there and I'm walking around, I just kind of let the feeling, this place is so wonderful. It's like heaven on earth. It's, you just kind of walk around and like, they just kind of look at you and they like know what you need kind of thing. Like that's how in tune they are. And I was just kind of wandering and doing my thing. And, as I went around, I thought, I need something to help me manifest. There's something, I'm not grounded. I'm not doing this right. There's something I need to do to manifest. And I was like, what? And I'm looking around the store and I didn't see anything. And then I saw these decorations in the middle of the table, actually with all the smudging, which I bought like, I don't know how many, Jackie, 4 different sage smudge sticks just to do the new house and stuff like that.
Thanks, honey.
But as we were walking around, I saw him, this little guy was sitting on the table. And it's a globe. I'm trying to find the camera. There we go. It's a globe. And I was like, well, and I looked at it and there were some different ones in the bowl and I, touched all of them. And I went to this one. I'm like, I wonder if this is for sale. Because this is what I need when I meditate, to remind myself that I'm in control of my own universe. I'm in control of my world. So am I going to let what these people are saying, what they are projecting onto us, because they know the unhealed version of my DM? Um, are they going to play into that? Am I going to buy into what they're selling, ultimately? Or am I going to step back and go, yeah, no, I'm stronger than that. That's not how this is going to go. I'm stronger than that. This is my universe and I know how it's going to be. And so you all can think all you want to about, and it's one of those things that really aggravates me, especially because, and anybody that's watched the show for any amount of time, I have worked very hard to get my strength back to stand on my own 2 feet. And not get it back, to recognize it again, to re-recognize it, and to stand in my goddess power. And so when it turns around to be one of those, oh, poor thing, I just wish she wouldn't, or I hope he doesn't lead her astray, so all of these, like I'm some poor pitiful thing. And I'm like, now wait a minute, I'm the one moving out into a new house from the karmic, not that sucker. I am. Shouldn't it be the other way around? And if you ask him, oh, I can lead him astray in a heartbeat. So it's not really poor, pitiful me, but that's what they're projecting onto me.
Mm-hmm.
When actually, and technically, looking at it from the other side, it's, oh, poor thing. What's he going to do to get out of this situation so he can have her? Oh, gee, I just hope she doesn't lead him astray and find somebody else. Kind of things. So once I came to terms with that and I got my little globe, so that's what I use when I manifest. And when I meditate, I hold it, I play with it in my hands, I rub it around in my hands. I'll stop and put my mouth on it. I put my third eye on it, and I rub, on this thing and it's just covered in paper. So I give it about a month, and I'm going to be having to, go find out where they bought these from or go online or something. But, and so I then decided, as I was, holding the ball, waiting to find out. By the way, they only charged me $4 for it. So I got to thinking. I'm like, you know what? Nope. Nope. This is the time that's bringing out those hidden things that a lot of people don't recognize, people aren't seeing. And the minute we hear that, we kind of get that little, kind of that little glitch, because we're like, oh, what's coming out? What don't I know? What's going to be bad? Mm-mm. I was like, nope, I'm putting in my order now. I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be what everybody else doesn't expect. And I want to surprise myself with my own strength, with my own abilities, my own manifesting power, my own meditative powers, what I can do that I've always known I could do. And a lot of times probably was just too scared to push it to the limit. And so I have just decided, where everybody wants to do the whole, oh, poor thing, I'm going to have it where there's not going to be any doubt about it. He's going to tell them all right out of his mouth. It's not me that's going to do it. I'm just going to sit there like poor, pitiful little me and let them think that about me. And he's going to be the one that confesses it all.
Yeah, that's kind of the energies of, again, like say about the Cancerian thing. But I want to table back to it. You brought it back to, thank you. As far as telling them, I had something of an incident of doing that, but I did do the talk like Kathy did, which was, okay, don't fly off the handle, but come back with a sense of humor to still give the message to them, to let them know I didn't appreciate what was done. My thing is, and I looked, and I did that, and that's what made me come up with the subliminal messages about the karmic energies and the lessons, which led me to look at the Chiron, look and seeing about what was it that I needed to heal, and what was my lessons. And I found out it was like finding my communications, in my voice, making sure that what I'm communicating is clear and concise, and that to stop worrying about how I'm saying it or putting it together, because I am intellectually sound and intellectually smart, and I don't believe that I am. And that again, through spirit, again, those two things together, I'm strong, but I don't believe that in my communication, which it has some validity to it in some ways. And he said a lot of ways. Okay. So my thing is that I was like, you know what? We've got to go ahead and test this in this energies of the where I need to learn this at. And so I did. I was about to fly off, but I remembered, I guess we might have watched the same way, but I remember me saying, okay, this is still, I think the next day it came on my email and it was saying one of those tarot, like instant readers things that it came out. And I said, okay, I'm interested. What is this? Click. And it was like something you are holding off in communicating and telling, and you're wishing that the universe would handle it or the person would feel and know what you're doing, what needs to be done, and you need to speak about it. And that was my clue. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna speak on it. I'm not gonna do it the fire Aries way where I'm crashing and burning up every day I go freaking thing in the studio. But I'm going to do it in a way that has jokes to it. And I did. I said what I had to say, whatever like that. Um, did you respond right away? Maybe not. But anyway, it might have took some time, but I did get a response. No, he didn't respond in the morning like I thought he would, but he did respond to me that day. So my thing is check within yourself. Some things have to be said, but when it's stated, make sure that it's not coming like what Kathy D had said earlier about the ego. Oh, I'm gonna give him a peace of mind. Go through there and filter it. Still, again, it's like my mom always say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it as well. And then you got to temper again, like Kathy D said, where are you in your relationship? Are you at that point where you all kind of understand each other? You got to kind of gauge that too as well, because it depends on where they are. If there is just going to be well received. Then you got to remember again too, choose your battles and choose your battles wisely. Is that something that again you want to go to war about? Or is that something you like, you know what, it ain't that big enough of an issue that I need to address that. But at the same time, like I said, don't take that energy within yourself and take it on to the point that it kind of fester and then it becomes to the point of resentment. If you think down the line, if I keep on sitting on this and it's going to turn into that, I would say have the conversation with your divine counterpart. Just watch the words and the manner in which you go about saying it. That would be what I would say. But yes, it is a caution, do not disturb. Yeah, with this energies too as well, talking about it, because I've heard some people say if you say that it just damage, and it'd be hard as hell for you to get it back on track, and kind of watch it, and that kind of scared me. But then when I did get that email that gave me the go ahead sign, like spirit's like, yeah, I heard what the video lady said, but the spirit guy's like, let me drop this on you, this tarot card reading, like, I think you need to speak. And so this kind of gauge, it's all within love. What's your intentions? David taught me that. Whatever your intentions for that conversation, at the end of the day, what do you want? You want to restore peace in yourself, peace in your divine counterpart. Have the conversation and make sure that everything that you're doing it is with that intention and that objective. And I have yet to see it go astray. It usually does reset itself back, if that's what you're saying. I'm just saying this in love. I just want you to hear my truth, and then that's it.
Well,
Hmm. I actually was able to connect with some relatives this week, some living and some dead, and it was about communication and getting things off of your chest. And sometimes it has to come out uncomfortable because you're supposed to be triggering that within another person. But I'm not saying go out and be trying to fight. Like that's the Aries move. But if you got to say it and it makes other people uncomfortable, you got to get okay with making other people uncomfortable because you are supposed to be here. You're here for a reason, and it's okay that you're here. And so a lot of people are learning how to take up space again. So just let it out, but also know that you aren't the supreme being with the omniscient knowledge when you're in that space of releasing something. So let it be okay that part of what your viewpoint is wrong, right? Or it's not necessarily wrong, but it's not the whole truth. So, but go ahead.
Oh, the one thing that as I was going through this and I kept getting, so mad, just was, oh, I laid there in bed that night, just tossed and turned. Boy, I was going to let them all have it. And then I realized what actually that was bringing out in me. And I still, to a point, wanted their validation.
Mm,
I wanted their validation, even though I knew, we've said for years now, you know what you know, what you know. I know without a shadow of a doubt. I know without, any hesitation what is going on. And I know, through communications with his 5D and all of that kind of stuff, where everything stands. So it was bringing out that and opening my eyes to the fact that, sorry, the dog needs out. There we go. Um, I I still needed at some point a form of validation. I was still letting other people tell me what my life was going to be. As a little child, I was told, I think probably from the day I was laid in the crib, probably I was told, "You're beautiful, I love you, and you're going to college." That was probably the sentences my parents used, because it was a non-negotiable. You were going to college. I don't care what you major in, but you're going to, which we now have seen that there are plenty of people that are very successful, live full and wonderful, beautiful lives, and then, you know, never had a college degree. So yeah, it's just like always, in the back of my mind, I have the plans, but then I'm just waiting for that little nod, like, yeah, you're okay. You got it now.
well, it's interesting because I tell people a lot that people lie to themselves first. And
True.
so the rules that we've put on ourselves are usually based on things we've been exposed to, but we've created those lives to become truths. And we've embodied them so deeply that we don't even notice. And so some of these things that are fundamental in your understanding of yourself can actually be very flawed ideologies that were fed to you at a very impressionable age. And we're all still, like I tell everyone, it's basically a giant episode of the Muppet Babies where the adults think that they're not children, but we are all children. We're all children not only of our parents, but of the universe. We're just at different age levels. And I think the wiser a person is, especially when they're older, you can tell because they're more childlike. Now, I'm not saying that they're necessarily just an old perverts, but maybe they are in a certain respects, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna weird out and just obsess about this thing, but that's what makes um what's the word, advancements in certain aspects. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm weird for thinking about or focusing on a particular topic, but maybe that's your actual calling and that's what you're supposed to be doing. And so all those that fed you you're weird, or all those that fed you you're not good enough, you're still in a state of, but am I good enough now? Am I good enough to survive now? Am I okay with my wealth now? And it's like, you know, all these ideologies of own a house by the time you're XYZ, get married by the time you're XYZ, have kids by the time these are all false ideologies written in history by somebody else that wasn't you about you. But if we come from the opposite perspective, right, everything is you, right? You created everything to put you in this place right now so that you can then suddenly recognize your own power, suddenly shift that not only for you, but every person that you interact with, right? So it's kind of like If everything is everything and everything is nothing, how are you going to feel about right now? No judgment of yourself, no looking at, the past to determine, no presuppositions about what's going to happen in the future. What do you, and the easiest thing to do is, okay, there's nothing there. Why don't I start with a feeling? What is it I want to cultivate? Okay, well, I want to feel joyful and I want to feel like lighthearted. Okay, well, shift into that feeling. Okay, now I feel joyful and lighthearted. What do I want? I mean, I say baby step, don't pick something big right away, but you can pick something big. How do I want to feel about my finances and my financial security and where I am with that? Oh, I'm completely supported. I can buy anything I want. What do I really want? My family to be happy and all that, but I can't make another person happy. I got to be aware of that. Why do I think I want to make other people happy? Right. So then,
Mhm.
as soon as I start to go into places that aren't really mine, then I ask myself, well, why do I need that in order to feel okay right now? I don't. Okay. So then that's something I can consciously let go of. Now I have to like put it in a space and feel it long enough that my subconscious agrees. Right, Kathy D? You gotta get it from the conscious state and the subconscious state to allow yourself to actually receive the more that you want. You want to travel the world, but you're afraid to get on in a in a car or a plane. Well, let's just slow down a little bit and figure that out. You want your twin flame, but are you really ready to deal with the ups and downs of what it means to be in a relationship? Because remember, you can't control another person. You can't get them to tell you what you want, but you can say that wholeheartedly. Like, I really want to feel this way. Like, I know I'm scared of being abandoned. You know, I'm not saying you need to make me feel unabandoned. I'm just telling you that this is something I've got to work through. So if they understand that now, that's an aspect of what you're healing, and they can show up for you or not and show you who they are and whether they're going to trigger you on a conscious or subconscious level. So, you know, surrendering and going with the flow can often feel like really stop and go,
That's a
right?
good thing.
Especially in the beginning, because it was the time when you were absolutely free where you could just go with the flow. You learned a lot of stuff that told you that you should not just go with the flow. So we're unlearning now. We're unlearning, and it's all coming up for the beauty of the remembering who we really are in our essence and what we're actively here to create. And if you're here and you've made it this far in this video, there's a guarantee that you're a very, very spiritual, powerful person. And it's a matter of you realigning consistently enough with yourself that you start to spread out your mana, your energy. And that's what the universe is calling for. There's a lot of stuff going on the clicky clicks machines and the social medias and the whatnots that are going to attempt to pull you into their own paradigm. But in reality, you are the most important and you are shifting. And that's why we come together, not only because it puts us in greater alignment with our calling and our mission, but it also puts us in the way of you so that you can be your highest self or whatever it is that you're cultivating. And some of us are agents, some of us are here to trigger other people, and that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. But this and that, I want to be this and that, but sometimes you are and sometimes you aren't. It's like the baby being the villain, right? Some children, when they're born in a place that they are vilified. They are made to be some problematic thing. But in reality, the time was taken to orchestrate all of it for them to be here and then to be carried and fed and nourished and then birthed, right? So anytime you get to a space where you're like, This is just too uncomfortable. I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Pause and take yourself out of it and look at all the ways that came together to create you. And then you're going to start to think, wow, even from the cellular level, the fact that a multicellular organism, that I'm a human being, the fact that human beings even exist on this planet, there's more to it. And that's when the surrender flows in. And sometimes that more to it is just you having an afternoon of laughing, maybe even going on a date, maybe even seeing friends, maybe even, but you're here. Welcome down the rabbit hole and back out again.
No, you was
Surrendering
going
to the
somewhere.
flow.
You were going somewhere. I knew where we was going. We weren't just flying down there at all. But yeah,
Sometimes I do though.
yeah. Sometimes you do.
Where's she
Just
at?
today you were good. Today you were good.
It
I
was
didn't
the
see the
wig. It's
Mad
falling
Hatter
off. The
and the
realness is
Queen
happening.
and the rabbit like last time. But you were
This is a
going
good
somewhere.
way to have the part, right? On
I
the
didn't see
side.
them characters. Yeah. But yeah, that is true. I mean, we just really do. And I like how you say, and that's almost the same thing like we always say about light and how it travels. It travels on the path, off the path. Everybody think light is like straight. It's not. And so that's the same thing. And we're talking about that flow. You have that. I talked about that laminar flow where it has the, again, turbulence, and then you have that absolute this flow of things, and it depends on how concentrated and heavy it is that you can be able to have that flow and to keep it going. And you got to be really kind of grounded and rooted in what you're believing in, that again, like what Kathy D said, not allowing anybody to come around and, like, as they call it here, knock you off your square, which you are really grounded and rooted in what you believe in. And this is all coming back to us really truly having an identity about what things work for us, what things don't work for us, what things we like, what things we don't like, and really kind of like, again, sharpen iron against iron is really getting us together and prepared to really become that true diamond, as well. And so we have to, again, I think the problem is, I like what you're saying again, is we got like a set, the expectations kills it. I'm expecting to go in this direction. I'm expecting to go left. I'm expecting for him to act a certain way or she to act a certain way. And we know in this journey, those expectations kills the whole thing. It's just like, again, it's like you get into a raft in the river and you just allowing it to flow, and the spirit or the river of life take you and show me a river, take you wherever that you need to go, and just trusting in source. And that's the issue. We don't trust source, you know, and we don't know where it's going to take us. Are we going to like where we're going? And that's, again, that getting to the flow, it stops us from that, because we might sort of say, I'm taking you, and you're like, whoa, wait a second, what's that? What we coming up on? I'm not used to that, no, wait a second. They warn me about this. I ain't supposed to be here. That's a bad sign right there, wherever you about to take me, and like the Spirit's like, no, if you really trust in me, I'm taking you to a place that's going to really blow your mind. But we so caught up with what's going on out here in the world that we can't surpass and see that. And so when it comes to us, the flow, we sabotage some of our good, or wherever life is about to really, source is really actually going to take us, because we either got that set expectation, or again, the things in our belief systems and things get us in the way. And once we see things, it's like, okay, or we start believing the illusions and the okie doke that's been told to us, then it's like, it's like, stop. No, I'm getting off right here, the next stop. And it's like, wait a second. What you want is just one stop ahead. No, it's enough riding on this flow. Here, matter of fact, I'm getting seasick. I need to get off. So that these are the things that are, messing with us. But again, like, I really, if you don't get anything else, and I'm going to even take that for myself, what April said, sometimes flow might look like stop and go, or it might be stop, drop, and roll. You don't know how it's going to be, how it is. And so don't hit panic button when it's like, the DM or the counterpart say, I'm gonna go back into the situation. Okay, And all right, now we stop it. We was flowing right because you was going to expectation. Like this is, you're gonna show up, you talking right, I'm talking right, we vibing right. And now you put it like a monkey wrench or a break song. Now what's happening? We ain't in the flow. But again, maybe they got to go back into that situation so they can be able to get a little bit more understanding about what they truly want, which is you. So isn't that still them getting into the flow? Aha. All in your mind. So that again, it's not going to look the way you want to, and I have to preach to myself. But again, that still is in the flow, and we can't hit the panic button because once we do that, we throw all different kind of other stuff. That conversation that Kathy D talking about. Well, I'm giving you peace of mind. How dare you go back to her? Or how dare you go back into the job when I told you we supposed to go on the date and then you go be and doing XYZ on the job again and getting another shift when you said Friday you supposed to be off. So you don't know what's happening. Maybe they got to work themselves to death in that job so they understand that, hey, this ain't the life for me. This is not the job. So it's this life is interesting, but that's the part of the journey. Go on, Kathy D.
Well, so much of it too with all of the stuff that's coming up and the arguing, with ourselves, and we're finding out, is it validation? Is it things that we need? The main thing is if they go back into that situation, whatever it be, person, place, or thing, we know that karmics can go however, there's still something, like you said, for them to learn. But do not, please do not think you are off the hook. And actually, it took our good friend Stephanie to point that out to me, that when they do that, go back, not only do they need to go back and learn something, I need to go back and learn something. There's something else. So in that point, in that perspective, yes, things are going great. Things are, looking wonderful, just things that I would have never, ever the first time around expected. And they're happening now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things like, okay, so he's going back to finish what he's got to finish. And I've got to move forward to finish what I've got to finish. We have come to the conclusion together talking. We know that being free and out of these initial karmic homes that had so much karma and stuff in them, that we knew that the breaking out of those was going to be the first real step in breaking a lot of this. And so you just have to always remember, and I know people hate, oh, well, if it's if they're a mirror to you, and I've heard so many people say, I'm just so tired of that. I have it together. I don't know what his problem is. I'm perfect, and just
so
look,
nice
I'm
that
so
you think
perfect.
so.
Yes, and it's like,
I'm glad you have self-esteem.
yeah, we want you to have self-esteem, but come on, sister, be with us here. Be in this presence, taking off those rose-colored glasses. Because nobody's perfect, but we'd also have to understand too, we're never going to be completely healed. Nobody ever, because there's things that happen daily. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and triggers you. Somebody says something in a store, triggers you. It's an ongoing thing. Something happens you never thought about would happen. Who knew your neighbor would have a pet rabbit and went and, dug up your, award-winning petunias? I don't, but things like that you would have never thought of that are going to trigger you because we're never fully healed. And so don't put that on yourself that you have to be fully healed, or and I am guilty of this one. You have to be a certain weight or a certain this or a certain that to have because those things right now are coming back to bite you in the butt. And I wish I was kidding with this. And everybody, when I say this, is going to be like, oh, I wish I had that problem. But I'm going to tell you, it is actually extremely painful. And I don't wish this on anyone. And that is, in the last 18 days, I've lost over 20 pounds. And just, I mean, I'm doing the ketogenic diet. I'm not doing anything spectacular. I'm not doing any crazy anything, but I just can't eat, and if I do, it goes right through me. But because I threw it out there, oh, I have to be at a certain whatever, and just like made that a mandate, universe is like, really? Let's see how close we can get you there. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong about that. Okay, physical appearance isn't that important. Okay, can we slow down? Wait, well, can we go 5 more pounds and then can we slow down? But so you have to be careful on what you're putting out there. And especially if you're new on this journey, please heed this warning, because we all did it. We all put some kind of craziness out there. Oh, well, I want this and I want that, and once I have this, then I no, this, you are not at a vending machine, and you're not going. Now I'm going to show my age. You're not going through the Sears Swoosh book. Okay.
Man, I missed that book.
I used to look forward to that coming right around Thanksgiving. But you have to be realistic with it. And that's where, and so many, if you go back and rewatch some of our stuff, and April has so many wonderful things about self-love and loving your body and loving where you are. And once you get to that point, and I was really good with where I was, and I was really happy about it. And the universe is like, well, wait a minute, you put this clause in, so I guess we need to, let's speed this up. And it's like, wait, so
I was like, oh, you love you the way you are. Look, if you don't love you the way you are, you're going to end up looking like a hot mess. And I'm going to tell you this for real, because you can see the examples of people who don't love themselves, or they love themselves, but they've also come with an image. So they have an idea of who they're supposed to be or look like. And so a majority of women, they wear makeup constantly. And when they take it off, they look like ghosts. They have no color in their face or their lips and all this other stuff, because they've been so busy making this their face that their real face is, it needs that love, it needs that nurturing, and you can see it in the vibrancy, right? You can see it in the vibration. Same way with, as my wig has been changing and shifting, as the point for you to understand that it's not even about the wig. The point is, if you don't love yourself for who you are, you're gonna end up looking like a hot mess, and your wig's gonna be so you don't even know how to comb it out. Somebody help me. DM me some videos. I want to comb it. They're fun. They're super fun. But like hair in my mouth and like hair falling out, like I'm over it. I'm over that. But I'm having fun with it. Right? It's play. It's dress up, and it's like, as much as I'm like self-love, love yourself who you are, I'm pretty sure that because of that, my twin probably has a lot of issues with like image and ego and all these things, right? So all the things you think you got, your counterpart got that, but in a different type of balance, right? And so when you start to come correct to yourself, you're going to be triggered less by external things, right? Yes. Or it's going to trigger you in a way that you're like, oh, I'm learning that about myself. I'm so stoked that you're triggering me. Thank you. Because I really wanted to shave that little piece. Oh, I was missing that. I was missing that little piece of self-love or self-acceptance, or like understanding that the grounding in is really not so much about the where you are. It's about where you are internally. And then, oh, I trusted my intuition and I dodged that bullet. And oh, wow, I learned so much about myself because my intuition is consistently on point. Oh, so I get to listen now? Yay, I feel like somebody from the Facts of Life. Anyway, I think it's great. I think it's nice with the wig over the dreads, a little, what's happening texture here.
Kind of zhoosh things up a little bit. We just juicing over here. Hey, yeah.
Like getting lashes, I hear you can't undo that. Like you want to get them now forever once you get lashes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because then they're like, oh, it don't look the same. It's like a blah.
I know what I
people
look
that
like
get the tattooed eyebrows.
Oh yeah.
I can't get into that one. Yeah.
I mean, if you have a some kind of medical condition where you don't have them,
I understand that. Yeah,
I'm all for that. I think most definitely, and they're usually very natural looking. They don't do all the funny high, none of that stuff.
Okay.
But the the ones that get them, done because they're just tired of drawing them on, and then can you only imagine you're going to see them? I figure as your face, droops, due to
Right.
gravity. Yeah, and then your eyebrows are coming down too. I mean, you're going to look like Oscar the Grouch before it's over with, and I just know.
That's where facelifts come in. Face yoga. Ugh.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
trust me, after you just paid all that money for the eyebrows, you're probably not going to be able to afford a facelift. So you better, you're going to be the one with the tape in your hairline doing this thing, So,
Right.
Oh, that's
or
so
everybody better invest in, one of the Gauchons so you can, keep
true.
combing your skin back. So,
So, as far as I understand about the origin of makeup, it was not only to show wealth, but also to pay homage to a goddess. And so, the adornment of yourself was it was less of a competition as more of a reverence, right? So you're honoring the deity, but you're also honoring your body, and you're taking the time to incorporate that. So if you're working in that space of, I'm doing this to just make myself feel great and step into that
Mm-hmm.
space of sensuousness, like women need a lot of foreplay. Everybody actually needs more foreplay, especially those overly sensitive males that, the what they call, I don't want no mini man. Anyway, oops. But the idea of taking the time. It's not about the orgasm per se or the end. It's about building up the energy and stoking the fires and keeping them going in a way that is sustaining. And so energetics, like you can move the energy of an orgasm through your body. We'll go into Freaky Friday in a little bit. You can move the energy through your body to actually start to heal your organs and heal the pieces that are missing within you. So if you want to get into clearing your first eye for reception, for actually balancing that energy with your twin, being able to receive is a huge deal. And a lot of us are taught give blowjobs, give this, give that. But can you receive? And I know that that is part of my weakness because I love to support and see other people in their pleasure and abundance. Now it's like, okay, no, I choose to receive. I choose to have fun. Maybe I'll do something with the. Nah, that wig is too much work. Y'all, it did look like a hot mess from the side. I got too much hair for that. I can't even wear a hat no more. I used to have a hat collection of beautiful hats, but now my hair is just too big. And that's okay. I love that. You know? I love how it's changing and growing me as a woman, as a divine being, as a connection to the universe. And, you know, I would never judge another person on what they need to do to get into receiving mode, right? Because when you're in full receiving mode, your flow is seamless. It seems like magic. You know those days where you just feel like everything is just a dream. You get in sync when you stick numbers all day.
Yes.
The
Oh
person
my
calls
God.
when you think of them. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and then you're like, I want this meal, and then your place has a special, and it's even better than you could have even imagined.
Yes.
That's the energy you're stoking, you're cultivating when you step into your pleasure, when you step into your magnetism. And so majority of people watching the show are female, but as a male, when you step into your power mode, right? When you step into your strength, your electricity, you're like, how do I spark this? That's when the feminine things start to flow into you too. And that's how the balance becomes. So I'm really excited about stepping into the full feminine mode because dark feminine happens first. And so that's part of why all of these emotional upheavals are happening because she's just like, no, look at everything. Look at it all. Oh, you was a hoe on Tuesday. Guess what? You's gonna be a hoe every Tuesday. And it's okay to be that hoe. You know what I mean? But it's Friday now, so it's Freaky Friday edition. Who wants to meet me at the club? I'll be there with my 3-year-old. Just kidding. No, no, it's not gonna like
Oh my God. No.
they have baby raves. You go out and play and
Oh
dance
yeah. Oh, okay. All
with
right.
cute
All
babies.
right. All
Where them
right.
dilts at? Send them my way.
As we wrap this up, I think this is a good segue for Indy. At this point, I think somebody need to get off the swing. They're a little busy there. Oh no.
You got a swing?
So what's going on? Anything for the community? Shout outs or anything that we are doing? Any specials? Somebody's doing something free, I think, an event for the ladies.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Oh, me. I do have things going on.
I know. That's
I was
why
like,
I'm
okay,
trying to help you
calling
out.
me. I got nothing happening except for the whole thing
Oh,
that
is she
you told
frozen?
me
Am I
about.
frozen?
No, you're not frozen. Uh-oh. Yep, she's frozen.
She's frozen.
Well, my I hear
that's why I said
Snortle laughing. Was that you? Who was that? Anyway, oh, that was the dog? That was a weird Snortle laugh. I thought it was cracking up. I thought you were frozen, but then snort laughing. Anyway, yes, I do have something going on on July 4th at 1 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. I'm going to do a short talk on taking your health back and taking sovereignty back for women's health. And if you're a man, woman, child, it's good for everybody. I'm going to keep it, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of medicine, and then we're going to bring it back to the people. And I call it a conversation, right? We're actually having a health conversation because health is not dictated. Health is flow, right? And so there is a balance between the masculine and feminine within to have proper health. It's not only listening to yourself and saying, this is what I am experiencing, but also taking something or staying disciplined with if eating those ham sandwiches is causing you diverticulitis or gout, stop eating the dang ham sandwiches. You know what I mean? And stand in that health. I mean, because it's over processed. You got lots of nitrates. You got blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to get on my health tip about you should be vegan or not or whatever. It's not about that. It's about listening to your body and connecting with your health. And also,
is it me again? No, you're moving, so this is good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good because you're moving. She's not. I'm guessing she's doing it on her. Is it on her YouTube?
I don't know.
I know I've seen it. I'm guessing it's on her YouTube that she's going to be doing it. If not, I'll post it on the community tab on Divine Unisouls 11 if those of you are interested in more information about what's going on for the class. For her conversations, which really sounds there's nothing on that, which really sounds good. I'm trying to see.
I think it's on her Instagram.
Yeah, it's on the Instagram too. Yeah. So go there too as well. You doing anything over there?
Packing boxes and yes, mission itself, getting the hell out of Dodge.
Right.
That is the mission and plan as of right now, and making sure that the DM is safe as well. So we're set. That's really all that's going on right now. And I hate to leave you because April left, but I have got to go work on boxes or I'm never going to get this place clean so I can turn it over. So wishing you all the best life ever. I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Bye. She's gone. All right. And I'll stay on so I can say my special. The special that I am having is, again, half off. For if you want a past life regression session and you want to know the different patterns that are going on, to do that. And then I'm also doing the subliminal messages. I'll do a one in Cancer. It'll be coming out kind of soon too to help you. The subliminal messages have really been helpful for me because is she in there? I don't see it though. You see that? No, she's still out. Okay. Has been really helpful for me because those of us that have like a busy mind, it cuts through there. So my subliminal messages have brain waves interjected in there, subliminal messages, and then also imagery. I call them iHeart movies that are very helpful too as well. All right, then. Thank you. As you see again, I have to learn how to what? Go with the flow. I could get all say, oh my God, they left me. But guess what? I know that I am great and dynamic, even as myself. And some kind of way, again, they're even here in spirit, although they are gone. And so, again, as always, thanks for being on the Playground Experience. And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste and Namago. All right. Thank you for listening to the Playground Experience. All right. Go out there in life and play. Until next time. See you next week. Bye.